Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to be looking at Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, who's fresh out on Global. He's a really fun unit, really good to use, but he's a little bit quirky. So we're just going to go through some of the quirks in his kit today, and yeah, we will discuss. So our boy here, he's coming with the leader skill, which is unchanged. Obviously, as you know, the super easy A's, it's only the passives which get changed. So we've got Tech Key +4 HP and attack and defense plus 100%, which is obviously good for Battlefield if you run the mono type-ins. Now the passive skill is obviously where all of the changes have come, so let's just go through that now. So we've got attack and defense plus 150%, and an additional 200% attack and defense plus 100% when performing a super attack. So I will just go ahead and say this guy is not a slot 1 unit, but he does have some defensive utility. This guy does gain a lot of stats upon supering. So super class allies plus 33% and extreme class allies attack plus 33% for 3 turns from the character's entry. So obviously straight out of the gate he's given good support to both types, which is wonderful. So if you guys weren't aware, on JP he came out as part of Topo Celebration, and one of the other units that came out was obviously LR Ginyu. Both those units synergized really well with the team, offering great support. We've got an additional 100% attack and defense when key is 11 or less, and an additional attack and defense plus 50% with each attack performed up to 150%. So the quirks in Gotenks' kit is that he does 3 super attacks. So I think it's one that's, if his key is 9 or 10, then you've got another when his key is 11, and then you've got another when his key is 12. And with each of those super attacks, he sort of gives something different to himself and to the team. So let's carry on going. If all allies attacking in the same turn have obtained a key sphere, the chance of performing a critical hit is 50%, plus 50%, sorry, and he reduces damage received by 50% within the same turn when the character's key is 11. So immediately, if you get 11 key on the super attack, you are giving yourself 50% damage reduction and a 50% crit chance, which is obviously fantastic. So with the 11 key, you're giving yourself some defensive utility, which this guy does need, because he doesn't get a lot on his super attack. He only raises his attack, so for 1 turn, so he doesn't get any defense on super. So getting 11 key is really, really beneficial for this guy. High chance of evading enemy's attack, including the super attack, plus an additional chance of evasion, including the super attack, plus 33% when performing a super attack if key is 12. So if you don't get the 11 key, if you can't get the 11 key, I would say go for the 12 key if it's possible. You know how the orbs sometimes fall, especially if you don't have rainbow orb changes in your team. It can be difficult to get a specific number, but I would say getting 12 is better than not getting 11. So obviously if you only get the 9 to 10 key, you're only gaining 100% stats, which just isn't enough really, because you've not got any defensive utility aside from raw stats, which, you know, even on globals meta isn't enough. So as you can see, you've got a high chance to dodge anyway, which is wonderful. So I do stand corrected a little bit. The 9 to 10 key, you do have a 50% dodge chance, but as you know, on a dodge or die character, 50% really, you know, it doesn't cut it at all. So if you get 12 key, you do get an extra 33% dodge chance. Now those two things do proc separately. So you've got your 50% dodge chance, and then you've got a separate 33% dodge chance. You don't have a flat 83%, but still, that is good. I've used this guy a little bit since he's come out, and to be honest with you, I found it pretty easy to get his 11 key. I've run him on a special pose team with the Int Gotenks and a friend Ginyu as the lead, and they do synergise quite well because with Ginyu, obviously, you're not aiming for max ki to get his support, and with Gotenks, you're not aiming for max ki because his best usage is if you get the 11 ki. High damage, good crit, and damage reduction, and he does work really well on that team as well. Likewise, God Goku's team, the Pure Saiyans team, Hybrid Saiyans team, he works really, really well on that, and he does synergise quite well with a lot of characters in there. So yeah, my thoughts. All in all, I think it's a really, really good Super Easy A. Out of the 4 I've used, I actually do like this guy the most. I think Kid Boo's probably the better character. You know what you're getting. He's very consistent, but this guy's just a lot of fun to use, and you know, it's a gacha game. It's about having fun and using the units that you enjoy using, and he does give something to all the teams he can run on, something a little bit different. You know, he's going to really come into his own when Topo gets released on Global. You'll be able to run him on a full special pose team for 200% lead, and he does work really well on that team. But obviously we don't have him yet, so the best we can do is just run him on teams where maybe he's not running at his full 100%, but he's still a very useful asset to the team. Like I say, you really do notice it when you get the 11 key, that 50% crit chance and that 50% damage reduction is really, really handy if you're running him as a floater or as a slot 2 unit. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it from me. Let me know what you think to Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. Let me know what you think to the Super Easy A's in general. Yeah, and I'll get back to you in the next video. Take care.